back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 187. I am Virtue, the moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel of NoDQ. Of course, Aaron Rift is here. Robbie Vice is back, my new arch nemesis. Walter Cruz, the doppelganger, the clone of Virtue, is here. And, of course, DJ, is it Witty?
Waddy. DJ Waddy.
Here you are, man. I love this shirt. What's going on?
What's going on, Virtue? You're an inspiration. I appreciate you. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be on today. I love the way you handled Mo Camera the other week. So I'm not against you. I'm with you.
Nice. And I didn't even expect you to be on. You kind of contacted Aaron Rift. It's not like me and you were in the DMs together and I'm pulling in all Virtue cronies. So it's good to have you here. And if you differ with me like Robbie often does, that's what it's all about. So I might just call you DJ because I think that's pretty cool, by the way. Walter.
That'll work.
What's going on? Did you change your shirt or you got a Virtue shirt on?
Yeah, I got the Naruto shirt on. I'm doing well. I got the Jargo streak going on.
Why?
With the many videos in a row. Yeah,
well, he works now Thursday nights in Indianapolis.
Okay.
So
yeah, I see him on Facebook, but I'm doing well. Ready for the topics.
Cool.
How's everyone else doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Instead
Robbie?
of Robot 2, you could be Jargo 2.
Jargo 2.
You have to start New Japan.
I can't. I'm Virtue number 2. Remember?
Well, then you're gonna have to bash AEW through the whole video.
Well, I mean, telling the truth. Listen, and Robbie he'll bring this up too. We are simply telling the truth. Sometimes I go overboard on Twitter and I'll enhance it, but I'm not lying when I say this. And there's a lot of people with the same opinions.
They're telling the truth, they're usually full of shit.
Robbie, did you not get the same hate that I get on Twitter for being called an AEW hater, and you stated fact?
So all I posted was that AEW has shown no growth over 3 years, which is factual. If you look at their
buy rates,
their pay-per-view buy rates are, I guess,
up.
Okay, is their TV ratings up? Okay, they're still on the same amount. Their live ratings are down, right? Their TV ratings are down. Their tickets are down. The only thing they're selling out is their every 4-month thing because they have 1.2 million fans and they're going to travel. They're going to do it. I'm not saying it's a dead company. They are literally just catering to their current audience. They're not pulling in new people. They're not pulling in anyone else that's new, right? They're not. If that was the case, they would show in the ratings every week. So all I posted is they have no growth. No one has any facts to bring to the table to
$2 million gates.
Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly. So if they sold their tickets for $1 a person, they could make $1.2 million because that's how many fans that company has. They're not building new fans. They're not going to casual audiences. The only people that are watching it, no offense to anybody, are just the people that are super into anime, that want to see anime style fights, and they want to see circus and flips and somersaults and stuff like that. I want to see story. I want to be entertained.
What's MJF doing?
MJF is entertaining as hell. He's probably the best person in that company.
The top guy in AEW.
And Caleb, we don't know if they make money. We know they make money at these big pay-per-views because of their buy rates, and they sell out 10, 15,000 people. But they have a lot of money invested in a lot of different things.
Better than what TNA was doing when Vince Russo was in charge.
But what does that even say?
Actually, no. TNA
it's not really saying much. You're right.
But TNA drew 2 million viewers at one point. And over 1.4 on more than one occasion.
TNA was okay until Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, but who thought that they were?
Funny.
Let me say this real quick.
Yeah.
What Impact Wrestling fan legitimately would argue that they were a better product and a more successful company than WWE during the Vince Russo era?
They never would. They would have just been happy to be the extension of Ring of Honor on a bigger platform because that's what Impact was.
So what you have now is you have a large group of gatekeeping losers that want to tell you what it is to be a wrestling fan. Hey, if you don't like this, don't watch it. Don't tell me what I'm doing. Oh, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. You can only be a fan the way I'm a fan. If you don't like the way that the show is going, you don't get to be a fan. This is why there's no casual fans anymore. This is why wrestling itself is dying. It is a dying medium because you have all these just like disgusting, poor losers that want to tell people how they can be fans. And you know what it is? They've all collectively gathered together because they are the only group that would want to spend time around these people.
Robbie,
So
these fans have been around for decades. Like, and
they've all, but here's the thing, they were spread out everywhere. But like, if you look at the front row of an AEW crowd, you see guys fatter than me, right? Which is not like a good thing or something to be proud of. And they all look like they smell. I don't know, man. I've never been to
and
an
there are
AEW
some good
show.
fans out there. Like I, you know what I mean? There are some good ones in there in the
But
AEW
we don't hear from them. We only hear from the crazies. We only hear from the people that want us to die over a TV show.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you don't
any
like the
fan
same
base.
wrestling I do. You can
that
die.
and there's too many quote unquote smart fans, too many people that know too much about the business, and then when they really don't.
I mean, you're right,
said-
Robbie, in the sense that there are some obsessed fans, but I think you could say that for any fandom where there's really
But where is it
fans that
concentrated?
defend no matter what, and there's nothing.
Okay,
you can
Aaron,
say.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Let's say
Uh-oh.
between WWE and AEW, who do you think has a bigger collection of toxic fans that will defend the brand itself, regardless? Because, and I'll follow up with a follow-up question with that. So, who do you think has a more concentrated fan base of toxic fans?
Well, I would say WWE just for the sense that they have more fans in general.
Let's say a percentage of fans. If you just take it by
I mean,
percentage,
there's really no way to come up
Aaron.
with a number, but they both have their fair share.
you're protecting your bottom dollar, and I respect that. But if you see what they do to me when I tell the truth, I know for a fact you don't want to lose money on it. So I'm going to let it. I'll let it ride.
I mean, I've had both sides. I've had
Right.
AEW fans say,
But would you
"How
say-
can you criticize
Okay,
it?"
who is more likely to criticize their what fan base do you think is more likely to say what they don't like about their preferred brand?
Probably AEW.
AEW, yep.
And look, once
What?
those fans, Robbie, can start accepting legit criticism, Dave Meltzer's the preacher of them. Like if Tony Khan, if they actually accept the legit criticism, then I think I would probably back down and maybe only talk about the things that I do like instead of speaking of, for instance, Wardlow and MJF is great.
Yeah.
Now, wait, but because that's the only thing I kind of enjoy right now in AEW, I'm not allowed to watch it because I don't like a lot of the other stuff.
Robbie,
Yeah.
you were criticizing the Jeff Hardy Darby Allin match, right?
Yeah.
Now, what was your energy towards like the TLC matches and all that stuff where they would do all those crazy stunts?
They're stupid.
All right, then. So
Wow.
Yeah,
you were not a big
here's-
fan of the TLC matches.
TLC is shit. The Royal Rumble sucks. We'll
Fair
go into
enough.
things about WWE I don't like. Their
Wow.
authority-figure angle that they've used for 25 years is stale and old. They don't know how to create new stars. Okay, they pick one out of every 15 years to be the guy, and that's it. Their tag team division is in shambles, and they only represent 1 to 2 belts in every pay-per-view. WWE has a ton of problems, and I talk about them a lot. But when I say that, people don't literally throw temper tantrums and have angry tears in their eyes while they write me as Axe body spray radiates from their being. That only happens through the AEW crowd.
Oh, well,
And
fair
you know
enough.
what? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say. There is more realistic casual fans on one side than the other. The other side is literally they're just zealots. They're crazy people, man.
One
Not good.
mistake AEW might be doing. I'm not saying that he's going to win, but if Jeff wins this Owen Hart tournament, that's a big mistake from AEW because you got the chance to make a big star out of a homegrown talent, and you took your newest ex-WWE star and made him like essentially the king of the ring, like the Owen Hart tournament. Like, why would you take someone that you signed from WWE who's an older person and make him the winner instead of taking someone young and homegrown and making them a bigger star?
Because they don't care about doing that, man. They want to tote out Brody Lee's kid to bring those sympathy eyes on there. And I don't even know why, because Brody's celebration episode couldn't even break 1 million viewers. So I don't know what that says
I
about
mean, I
him.
don't think that was about drawing ratings or anything.
Well, good, because it didn't.
I mean, it shouldn't
We got-
really matter.
So that was a great hot start there. Aaron, I'll come over to you now and say, you can say what's up. We'll get started with our topics. I'm sure some of this will overlap, Robbie. And some super chats came in as well. And a shout out to Colin the Cleaver Andrew, as I always do. So, Aaron, how's it going?
I don't remember the last time we had that much of a discussion before we even got into it.
Pulling them
Hot
in,
takes,
pulling
baby.
them in.
Hot takes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat, says, say yes to no DQ and share. Okay, so Walter said he's going to do something special tonight. For anybody that super chats, you will have the opportunity to get a free t-shirt courtesy of Walter Cruz, right?
Yeah, and it's random. It's not how much you chat. It's just I'm literally gonna scroll and randomize it. So don't think the more money it's all appreciated, but I don't want you guys to think it's whoever does the most, he's just gonna pick that. It's gonna be random.
Right. So if you've never super chatted before and you want to win a free t-shirt, hey, throw in a $2 super chat and you'll be in the running for it. All right, let's see. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat, says, just because I want to, LOL. So Dwayne Atkinson officially has a chance to win a t-shirt. Psycho Jet Black has a chance to win a t-shirt. He sent in $2, says, Robbie, who in WWE do you hate as much as Marco Stunt?
Matt Riddle.
Probably Matt Riddle. Yeah, I would say it's probably up there.
What? Matt Riddle? Riddle's great, bro.
I mean, if you like Wish.com RVD without any of the charm, charisma, or like redeeming qualities, I guess, sure. RVD was a champion. He wasn't carrying the tag team division. That guy won belts on his own. And he didn't have doves fly out of his crotch whenever he kicked.
Well,
stuff.
that's
I don't
true.
really know. Yeah. So
Are they changing the animals every week? Because the one it's not doves anymore. It's like different. I thought it was
I don't know.
butterflies.
Usually when Riddle comes on and Randy Orton's not on the screen, I'm usually just looking at my phone. So.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Aaron, do you hate Ryback as much as I hate Ricochet? I don't hate Ryback, but we're not going to talk about Ryback this week. He had his 5 minutes of discussion last week, or maybe it was longer than that. But I think we're done talking about Ryback for now until his next Twitter blow up. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Dwayne. Says, Walter Cruz, cough, cough. Oh, wow. And Nelson Moreno sent in a $2 super chat. He's now in the running. Says, sorry to go off topic. Thoughts on Strange 2? I don't even know what that is. So
It was great. It was great. And Aaron, Sam Raimi directed it. And you know him. He did the first 3 Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. He did the Evil Dead movies.
Wait, it's called Strange 2?
It's the new Marvel. It's Doctor Strange. He probably couldn't fit it
of madness.
It was $2. Yeah, he couldn't fit it.
It was very, very Sam Raimi. It was good.
Okay, well, maybe I'll have to check it out.
I actually didn't see it. I got to take my kids.
All right, so yeah, I'm doing well. I'm excited for this episode of the NoDQ review. I say let's get right into the topics now.
Now, we can blow through this, right? We always do after a pay-per-view. I mean, after a PLE for WWE, we always kind of give our final thoughts on it. So, DJ, I'm coming to you first. WWE WrestleMania Backlash. Ronda Rousey became the SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte's going to go home and cry for a little bit. The 6-man tag was great. I mean, it was a house show type match. Nothing was on the line, but the bloodline. I mean, that was very exciting. What was your take? Yep. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, quick takes on Backlash. I know it's called WrestleMania Backlash, and then we'll move on. DJ?
I enjoyed the show. The 6-man definitely exceeded my expectation. I told Aaron I thought it was going to be a glorified SmackDown match, to be honest, but it definitely overexceeded my expectation. I did not see the Bloodline winning, however, but they picked up the W. I have no problem with that. But the match of the night, in my opinion, is definitely the I Quit match. Charlotte and Ronda. I was torn between that picking between Charlotte and Ronda, but obviously Ronda got the W. I love the back and forth, the interaction between the two during the match. Never bitch, you know. Definitely, they've been using that word for quite some time, obviously, to try to, make it more edgy, but that's pretty much it. The I Quit match.
About Seth and Cody too happened.
Right, Seth and Cody too, definitely. Now it's looking like they're going to keep that one going. So overall, it was a solid pay-per-view, or premium live event. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it.
It makes that $5 a month Peacock. Yeah, I know, Robbie. I got all this money, not as much as you, but I still save the extra $5 a month and take the ads. But whatever, that's still $5 or $10. That's a great deal for wrestling content. I could never pay for a pay-per-view ever again.
I'll tell you what, Ronda is to bitch what MJF is to shit. Like, they're overdoing it. Ooh. She says bitch as much as MJF says shit.
Well,
yeah. And Dan Lambert says shit a lot.
So, yeah. Walter, thoughts on WrestleMania Backlash?
it actually exceeded my expectation. I went into it with very low expectations. Like I did the prediction, I did it. Like the one negative is it was very predictable. I mean, the only match I got wrong was the Bloodline, and deep down inside, I even said it on video, don't go against Roman, but I just figured it wouldn't make sense if the faces didn't win for Drew to get his title shot. So we'll see how they do it. The only problem for me is like, where do they go from here? It's like almost like it doesn't matter because Charlotte's going to take time off to get married to Andrade. So that frees up Ronda. It's like it didn't, the stories aren't really advancing that, but other than that, it did exceed expectations.
Robbie, did you catch it?
Yeah, it was a good show, man. Didn't put a lot of expectations into it, but Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins was, I think that's the best program between the WrestleMania match and this one. Those were the two best matches I've seen in years. And it's not just from like a wrestling technical standpoint, while that was pretty damn impressive. It tells a really good story. And I think they're being really careful with Cody right now. And I feel like this is something that's also elevating Seth, because what do we talk about when we say problems with WWE is there's no good faces anymore, right? Cody's not a dumb face. The way they're booking him, he's intelligent. He does the right thing. I loved in the match that when they would go for dives and different things, it wasn't just the cookie cutter, indie style match. They had counters and they had different things that went through it. And it was really fun to watch. The Charlotte match, I was a little bit surprised by. I thought it was good. Ronda probably had her best outing in a long time. And then, that 6-man tag was it was fun. The show was overall fun. Was it the best thing I've seen in a long time outside of Cody Seth? No, but it's a lot more than I usually expect from the first pay-per-view after a WrestleMania.
Now, Robbie, is a nice change to see a smart babyface, though. You're right on that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What's your thoughts, Robbie, on Cody gets a lot of slack and hate from the diehard wrestling fans. He's really not that good of an in-ring worker, and I think they're full of crap. I'm not saying he's like Mr. Technical or anything, but what's so bad about
a lot of those fans are
WWE?
He's definitely better in that environment where you have professionally trained wrestlers that he's working with. I don't think it works when you have guys that learned on a trampoline in their backyard and haven't had, any further training like Omega and some of these other dudes. But yeah, I mean, Cody Rhodes, I bought this shirt. This is the first wrestling shirt I bought since 7th grade. I think I had a DX shirt, an Austin shirt, and an NWO shirt. Cody Rhodes is the best babyface in wrestling right now. I mean, it's not even close. The guy can tell a great story, and yeah, is he the best technical wrestler? Is he doing all the flips and the spots and things like that? No, but it looks like a wrestling fight. I can suspend my disbelief enough, especially with Cody and Seth. I thought they have some of the best chemistry I've seen in a really long time. And I'm hoping at some point they can have that rivalry, like Austin and Rock and Triple H. You had those guys in there that you knew when they were in the main event or they were on a card with a belt attached to it, it was going to be a good match, and you're always going to get your money's worth out of Cody and Seth. I don't think there's two better workers in the world right now.
Okay.
Although I do got to give credit to Orton. Orton's aging like wine. This dude is like reversing time.
He's not really that old though, man. And really,
I know he's not old, but it just seems like that because he's been there so long. But he just seems to get better and better,
that's exactly
and finds a way to lift to get better. It's amazing to me.
And he's smart. He's hanging on the coattails of Riddle now.
Yeah, that must be it.
Aaron, anything you want to add? I know you do the recap for the shows, so I don't know if you want to add anything.
I mean, it was good for a filler pay-per-view, and I'm curious to see what they do for Hell in a Cell, because apparently Roman Reigns is not going to be defending the Undisputed Universal WWE Unified Champion, whatever the hell it's called, championship. But we'll talk about that more later. We do have a few super chats here. Hap Connell sent in a $5 super chat, says, okay, first you don't watch Cobra Kai, and now you don't watch the MCU. I'm done. Unsubscribe.
Well, yet he paid $4.99 to tell you that he's not unsubscribing.
MCU.
I think he means because you didn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because you didn't know what Strange 2 is. That's what he's referring to. You didn't know what Strange 2 was. That's what he's referring to.
Oh, well, I'm a casual action movie goer, casual Marvel goer, I guess.
Well, here's some more hate ammo. I don't like superhero movies. I don't like.
I don't really either.
like the Batman, in the 80s and Batman Returns. I thought those were the two best of the superhero movies I've seen. But like, dude, all this Marvel stuff, and I don't know, every movie's like the exact same thing over and it's like it's a formula, and they follow it to a T, and it's fun. I'm sure they're fun, episodic movies, but like it's not for me. I am not the target audience.
I'm not the target audience.
Is it fair to say, Robbie and Aaron, you two are like into series more, where it's like episode after episode after episode?
Yeah, I like that. If I can binge something
that way slowly.
I still watch Batman the animated series on HBO. Man, I'm a Batman head, but as I got older, it's all about Joker to me. It's like I like Batman when I was little. Then I got older, understood Joker, and loved Joker more.
Because he's a complex character, and that's what people want to see. They want to see complex characters. They don't want to see. If you had no idea who Batman and Joker were, and they just threw them on TV and they were fighting, you wouldn't care at all about it, right?
Yeah.
That Joker movie was pretty good. The one from a few years ago. I did like
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of his.
Because that was more character driven. It wasn't about like all the special effects and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That was more.
It wasn't a death laser shooting into the sky that they had to stop, like every single movie pretty much turns out to be.
Aaron, you got more chats, super chats?
Yeah, we're getting way off topic here, so let's get back in the scheme of things. Okay, so Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says DJ Whitey versus DJ Meacham, DJ on a pole match.
Whoa. Okay.
I forgot that we had established that Jeff was
kept calling
DJ
Meacham DJ last week. Yeah.
DJ Meacham, what did
Let's
I miss?
do it.
All right, so yeah, I've said my piece on Backlash. It's a good show if you want to just watch wrestling for 3 hours, and that's about it. Not much else to say.
Okay, we'll move on. And, since we're going to talk about Reigns' part-time schedule coming up here and how it's going to affect the summer, and if he is hardly there, he's got the main championship, we're going to go around the room here. This will be kind of a fun topic, and we'll see what the NoDQ Galaxy says. Long before it was ever the TNA Galaxy, according to Morrissey, by the way, it was the NoDQ Galaxy first.
Right.
What one title that's not the Roman Reigns Championship could be elevated to feel important if he's not on TV that much for the next several months? Now, immediately you think of the U.S. title, you think of the Intercontinental title, which they've treated both like garbage. But you can even throw the two women's titles in there. Do they take one of the women's championships and really make that feel important, or both? So, DJ, I'm coming over to you here. I feel a lot of people are going to say Intercontinental because that's got the history behind that. Is used to be like if you were the Intercontinental champion back in the day, you were the WWE champion, #1 contender. I feel like the next few months they could make one of these titles feel important if they book it right. So people might kind of be all right with Roman not being there all the time with the main title. What do you think, DJ?
This is actually a harder decision to make than I thought it would be. Because I thought it was going to go
with the gut, man. Go with the gut.
Right. Honestly, I'm going to say the tag titles. I know Randy has been announced again that they're going to do a unification match on Raw or try to challenge the Usos. So if they wind up doing it, I think the emphasis is going to be on primarily the SmackDown titles. My second pick would be probably the SmackDown Women's title. Now that Ronda has the title, I'm interested to see where they go with her opponents and who they have lined up for her.
Now, that's interesting. You said the tag titles because you figure if Roman's not there, the Usos will be like representing the bloodline on TV in his place. If they do this unification of the tag titles, it does make them feel kind of important, especially if the Usos win them all, because then people are going to want to see Roman back and all the belts being held up. That is as bad as WWE tag teams have been for the last 20 years. They've had their small little runs, but in general, Vince McMahon just doesn't seem like he cares about them. This could be the time where it's the most important. So that was a good point that you brought up there.
There you go.
I would have never said that. Robbie, what do you think?
All of the belts besides the ones Roman hold are garbage, and they can be treated as such, man. They're never going to. I think
they can't even put a Band-Aid over one of them for 3 months, though?
No, okay. They're done, man. So look, it's kind of like it would be like if I wanted to look like The Rock, we're not going to do that with a Band-Aid, right? That's going to be years and years because it took way longer for them to devalue these titles than it's going to take for them to revalue these titles. They have spent years and years telling us that they don't matter, they're not important, they don't lead to anything, and that they're props. WWE does a absolutely abhorrent job with making you feel that any of these titles mean anything. And secondly, to the Roman thing, I don't think Roman's going to be on TV any less than he is now. I think he might miss this next PLE or whatever it is, but like for everything I've seen, he's just not going to go to house shows that are like out in, you know, smaller markets. So
that is
I don't think
event,
Roman,
Robbie. So if you want to, like, are you teasing for it?
I'm teasing for it, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But no, you're not going to rehabilitate any of these belts. No one's ever going to care about them. WWE has no tag team division, and unless they bring back FTR and actually have established storylines in the tag division, look, there is no valuable belt in WWE that Roman Reigns is not holding. And you're never going to
even the 24/7 title.
I would actually value that higher than the tag titles at this point, because they've definitely put a lot more attention and writing into the 24/7 title than they have the tag team division.
Wow, the hate for Riddle is real.
Wow.
Well,
so in my defense, I actually forgot that he was even a tag team champion until you brought that up. So, but yeah, I think of Randy Orton when I think of that team. Riddle's just kind of along for the ride. But yeah, man, the WWE they've done too bad. They're not good belts, and I just don't think they can revive them. It would take a top-down restructuring of the entire company and years of solid booking to make champions look good again. Because look, okay, let's say we give Cody Rhodes the United States title, right? Okay, he's going to talk about that title like John Cena did, and he's going to build that up, and you're going to feel like it's important until the second he loses it, and they put it back on a jobber like Ricochet, and he's just, you know, losing non-title matches week after week. That doesn't help anything.
So, Robbie, I think if they do have the Usos win all the tag belts, the division could still suck. But the fact that the Bloodline has all the gold and silver, that's good. That's what I feel is going to happen. But that wasn't my pick, by the way. That was DJ's pick.
And this is the last thing I'm going to say about this.
Yeah.
I think at this point in the game, the tag titles as well as the Usos are nothing but accessories for Roman Reigns.
Well, it's kind of. Then
okay,
that makes sense. I mean, Paul.
I only talk bad about AEW, so I don't know what I'm saying.
All these titles are only kept. Well. Yeah. All these titles are only around to sell merchandise. None of them mean anything anymore.
Yeah, and you got to remember the title. If the Usos have all those tag titles, that's not to sparkle them up. That's to sparkle Roman up. It's his group. It's his. He told them to go out there and do that. They go out there and do that. It gives him.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you, man. There's one belt that they absolutely could rehabilitate and make mean something, and that's the NXT Championship.
Ooh.
I think that's the only one that has a chance of making any kind of impact.
Okay.
They would have to book it different, and he would have to come to the main roster and beat some mid-card guys or something, but I don't know, man. I think everything else is too far gone.
I can agree with that.
So, Walter, I'll come over to you. The title I think they could push to make seem somewhat important, they've actually done it before to a degree, and that's the U.S. title. But it's short term. It's not long term. Remember when Cena defended it all the time? That
open challenges.
That felt important when Cena had it for those 6 months or whenever it was. And now it's around Theory, and you know he's like one of Vince McMahon's grooming guys that he's trying to get over. This is an opportunity. Maybe the U.S. title can be showcased over the summer at 4th of July. Theory get a lot of heel heat. Walter, what do you think?
I'm going to be all alone on an island of irrelevancy. Go way out on a limb, be the only one to say if there ever was a chance or an opportunity for WWE to prove they care about the women, elevate the women's tag title or the women's singles title. This is their chance. You got Roman is going to take time off, show that you care about the women, put them in good matches, and make those titles mean something. Now, I know they're not going to do it, and I'm the only one out of left field, but you got to make those titles mean something.
See, I think they're so undecided on if they want the Raw Women's title to be bigger than the SmackDown Women's title that those will always overlap each other, and neither one will feel more important than the other. Even if Ronda lost her fizzle, right? I mean, she had that good run that people. What really got her over is the whole stuff with Triple H and Stephanie and Kurt Angle in that first WrestleMania that she competed at. It's kind of been downhill since for her there because obviously she doesn't know how to take criticism, and it shows with her promos and all that. But I don't think either one of them, they should, but I don't think they're going to look at either one of the women's title and make it feel important enough during those next
They're
3 months. And
not.
Robbie might be onto something here, which we'll talk about in the main event. All this stuff we hear, maybe Roman really isn't going away too much. And we're going to dissect that more. But Aaron, what do you want to add to this before we move on to some AEW talk?
Well, Psycho Jet Black just said that he forgot the women's tag team titles existed.
So
yeah.
did I.
So do I.
That's my
specifically talking
point.
about
This
the
is your
two
one
singles
and only
titles.
chance to make it look like they mean something to you.
Who are the women's tag team champions at this point? I honestly
Sasha
don't even
Banks.
know.
Naomi and Sasha.
Didn't even know they were a tag team. Awesome. And I watched WrestleMania and I watched all these shows.
Meanwhile,
problem
you
is-
should be having Naomi on or not Naomi. Sasha should be on SmackDown feuding with Ronda.
The problem is they put random people together and make it 2-3 months and break them right up. So you can't invest in them.
True.
All right. Well, I think that Son Goshiku made a good point. Like, I think all the titles could be rehabilitated if you put enough effort into it, but I don't think WWE is going to put any effort into it. So I'm not really.
How much time would it take, though? Do you think, in your opinion, as
It
someone
would
who's watched
take-
most of your life?
It
Years,
would take.
right?
It would take.
It would take
Well,
years.
depends on the title. Like, I feel like the Raw title is somewhat prestigious. SmackDown, yeah, I actually think the women's singles titles are okay right now. Tag titles, I think, are okay. US and IC titles are the big problems, in my opinion. Neither of them have really defended on pay-per-views in forever. Like, when was the last time that the IC title was defended on a pay-per-view?
Should they unify those two, though? And
Yes.
just make it one? That's what I think they should do.
No,
make a
because-
big tournament. Make a big tournament. 16 people, 20 people. You make it and you unify those titles. Whoever wins, you make it look like a big deal. You keep it either they're going to keep it the Intercontinental title because the US title goes back to NWA and WCW. So they're going to make the Intercontinental title the more important one.
But how are you going to add value to titles when you're constantly changing them to look like toys to sell in a store? If they still had like the gold belt or even the eagle belt or even some of them before that red thing that they put out for the Raw Championship, when they had the Raw and SmackDown championships and they look the way they do, I think that's a huge reason the belts aren't taken seriously too. The thing looks like a freaking toy, right? Like
There is a
they're not-
rumor
they're
that
not-
Cody might bring back the Eagle if he wins
Right.
it.
But we have to see that happen. He's in a great feud with Seth Rollins, and it's going to take a lot to get from Seth Rollins. I mean, obviously at this point, it's not going to be SummerSlam. So unless we're talking about next WrestleMania, but then we're talking about The Rock. So I don't know how they get a belt like that on Cody at this point to bring back that Eagle title.
That IC title was elevated when Cody did that and brought back the classic white one. I think it elevated it a little bit back then.
I mean, yeah,
Nostalgia.
but
Yeah, let Cody win
Exactly.
the WWE title and bring back the Winged Eagle title or whatever it's called.
And
By the
Miz
way,
did it
DJ,
too.
you can speak up anytime you want, like Walter does now. See how comfortable Walter is now? He just chimes in whenever he wants to. So feel free to do that, DJ.
Yeah, you're telling me to shut up.
Robbie's on the roll, man. Robbie's
Yeah,
on the roll.
no,
It's hard to stop him.
I'm just some idiot with a Twitter that knows nothing about
Exactly.
anything, dude. Tell me to shut up and just cut me off. It doesn't
But
matter. I'm not
Miz did it too. Miz made the IC title feel important when he had it. There's ways to do it. Certain people can do it. You just
Yeah,
got to
but
give
then-
them
but
the
that
opportunity.
person,
On paper.
them as the champion was held in prestige, not the championship itself.
That's true.
Or else the championship would still have been prestigious to this day.
Aaron,
the
I
building
think you were
the
on,
person
you
is
were on the
champion, not
topic
the-
here. You want to anything else to add, Mr. Rift?
I have pretty much said my piece on it. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, who are the best tag teams right now in WWE and AEW? Well, I'd say RK Bro and the Usos. And as far as AEW tag teams go, FTR. I think they're doing great. What do you think about FTR, Robbie? Like they're
love FTR.
doing the old school
I love
tag
it.
team wrestling.
I mean, it's a shame they weren't on TV until their contracts were starting to expire, but it's great to see them on again. And I think they're the best tag team in the world. And I don't even think it's close.
Well, there you go.
Them and the Usos are probably my favorite tag teams right now. Period.
All right.
Yep.
Virtue, you
Moving
have
on.
anything to agree or disagree with those teams?
FTR is great. Yeah, FTR is the best tag team in AEW. Like, it's not even close. Like, I mean, I would, God, yeah, it's not even close. And then of course, Usos and RK Bro. I'm enjoying them. And Matt Riddle will be a topic of discussion when Robbie and I eventually do our great NoDQ debate. So,
Virtue, what's up with Michael Wayne?
I can't wait.
This guy,
Come on.
Michael Wayne, is always channeling
he's from the Philippines. I know that. I mean, he follows me on Twitter.
He's like virtue number 2. Like he's always parroting everything.
He'll own that. He'll probably change his name and it'll say Michael Virtue Wayne. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
No
All right.
I kind of forgot about the Young Bucks for a little bit.
Dave Meltzer didn't.
Yeah,
their move is named after him. All right, are we ready to move on? Because let's talk about some AEW here. And you can kind of, when we talk about AEW, I kind of focus on one or two things. But you can, if something happened that I missed or you want to say, Virtue, this was actually really good, bring it up. Wardlow, MJF is money. I hope that out of this, MJF grows as the heel to, towards the heel champion that he could become one day. And Wardlow becomes a super baby face. Maybe they're Roman Reigns. Like Tony Khan has an opportunity to appeal to me with a dastardly heel at the top of the food chain and a great baby face like Roman was supposed to be that never was. So I don't hate everything about AEW. They're presenting something that I like, but I want to point out I don't like what they've been doing with CM Punk. Like this guy, he should be doing way more than what they're doing with him. And I question CM Punk in WCW 2000. I mean, might as well be that, Aaron. Like stuff that happens off the camera and he's getting choked by Hook and Danhausen. Is this stuff going to make TV?
No.
DJ, but you don't know. But what CM Punk to me is an afterthought in AEW. Like Hangman Page is a champion, great. Push somebody homegrown. Like I said, I like the MJF Wardlow feud, but like CM Punk, I mean, I would even put Brian Daniel, whatever you want to call him these days, and Moxley and those guys, like to me, more relevant than CM Punk in AEW. DJ, your thoughts here? I just feel like they've really, and this might be a Punk thing, but man, compared to what he did in WWE, it was like white hot. In AEW, after those first couple months, it sucks to me.
I think CM Punk is doing the best that he can right now. 7 years is a long time being gone, but for what he's doing in AEW right now, I think it's working. And I actually think that he's going to win the title off of Hangman at Double or Nothing, but that's going to be another video for the predictions champ future, which is going to be me, of course. But I think he's doing the best he can. I think it's working. I like the stuff he did with MJF in the previous program. I understand where you're coming from, though. I guess it could be a little bit better. It's nowhere near in comparison to what he did in WWE.
Like, do you think he doesn't? Do you think it's him? Not that he's doing it like because he doesn't know how to do the business, but like on purpose, because he doesn't want to overshadow all these other people. So I feel like it's half of CM Punk.
I get what you're saying with that.
Yeah, like you know what I mean?
I can agree with that, yeah.
It was such a huge – him coming back to wrestling and AEW landing him was so huge. And I'm thinking maybe he just wants to, like, kind of be behind everybody and just do what he wants to be mid-card right now. Now, if he gets into the title scene and wins it, great. But, man, there's just something about it. CM Punk is supposed to draw me in to AEW, right, especially being a WWE fan. Mr. Tito, my arch nemesis, he's gone right now from writing columns and stuff. I think he expected AEW to be this great juggernaut to combat WWE and CM Punk to be the catalyst. He didn't even stick around. I think because CM Punk could be a reason why. Something is failing there. You want to add anything else before I pass it on?
You don't like what he did with MJF, that program, though? I think that was golden TV at some point, at a few points, you know?
Yeah, but like I feel like I've forgotten it already. It didn't feel it was while it was happening. We're all like MJF building block for the future. Great, Punk put him over. It's over now,
right? And
it's like, what did it do? I mean, MJF is with Wardlow because of that, so you can give that a little prop. I just don't feel like Punk's is important. He's talking a big game on Twitter against people like Eric Bischoff and stuff. You would think him and Tony would be sitting there like, hey, let's get you up to the top and you do your thing and you'll blast them all. That's what we expect out of CM Punk, and I feel like we're not getting that. Maybe in time we will, but I'm just disappointed so far.
Wow, so you feel like the MJF stuff was pretty much
it
forgettable.
wasn't bad.
You forgot
I don't feel it was like super memorable. It was kind of like as it was happening, I got it. It's over. I'm not looking that stuff up again. I'm on to the next.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know. Walter.
I've been saying it for months about CM Punk on this channel. I've been saying that the hype is gone, and part of it is because you signed way too much talent and you didn't let this flower. You didn't let it grow. You didn't let the hype grow. The hype was like maybe a month, and then after that, you kept signing this person, and then this person debuted, and then this person debuted, and then that person, and you derailed your own hype train. And so I don't think it's Punk doing it. It's just the fact that it's a bloated roster right now. Like, I'm hoping he can do it with the title, but I think something needs to change. You know, he did his best work as a heel in WWE, so maybe you need to go the heel route here. Make him go heel and let him have the mic and let him do what he does. But that's what happened. And
to be fair, Walter, he hasn't been in AEW a year yet. When is the year approaching? September? Will it be there? Will it be a year in September that he's been in AEW? August. Okay. So again, maybe they're really, really slow burning him, and then boom, hey, when it's time, push him to the moon. But I feel like if he felt more important to them, they could get like a Hangman Page over better. I don't know, man. Maybe it's Tony Khan's booking. Robbie, it'll be interesting to hear what you have to say here. Maybe you are all for CM Punk and think he's doing a great job. I just feel underwhelmed, man. As a WWE fan.
Aaron, did you have a super chat or something that popped up that you want to say?
Well, no, there was a couple of them, but I usually just go when it's my turn.
I thought you held up your finger like you wanted to say.
I was just being like, to the.
Oh, yeah. So CM Punk is probably, for the better part of the last decade, was kind of the holy grail of wrestling companies, and he was going to be the savior, which is fitting because Phil has probably one of the biggest savior complexes, I think, in most people that are in the business right now. I think everything that's happening right now is by design. You know, he's coming in and he's working with a lot of these like young jobber looking dudes, and people are praising him, and that's what he needs because his ego requires that, because he felt disrespected by WWE and he needs what's happening right now. I think he's the biggest dropped ball in the history of wrestling. I can't think of a more disappointing hyped thing. I mean, it's like if you were thinking about Steak all week, and there have been rumors of Steak Monday through Friday, and Saturday all of a sudden Steak shows up, but you can't have it right away. And then on Sunday you realize they microwave this thing for about 3.5 minutes and then threw it in a deep fryer for an hour, and then you're eating this gross thing. But since you've invested so much time into it, you have to pretend that it's the best thing you've ever had in your life. That's probably how I can explain how the fans are treating CM Punk right now. I've said this all before, but this is all just playing into that dude's ego. He's been like this forever. He wants to be the savior. He wants everyone to love him, and he's just playing that role. But you can't tell me, like, all of us sat here almost a year ago when that happened saying this is probably going to be huge. I was one of the first people to say that. This is going to be giant for AEW. This is their chance to capitalize. This is their chance to get into that 1.5, 1.8 million, start competing with Raw. And they've done absolutely nothing with this guy. He moved the needle for one night, but if you look at ratings, again, in 3 years, there is no growth. CM Punk couldn't do it. Bryan Danielson couldn't do it. Moxley couldn't do it. And again, I challenge anybody who has left AEW or who has left WWE to go work for AEW that's a bigger star than before they left. And the answer is no one, not a single person.
And you know what made Punk tick when he was in WWE? Him being the anti-WWE guy, like, exactly. Hey, you're not going to make me a star. Yeah. I'll make myself a star. Give me the microphone. I'll be, cult of personality. And then AEW, he can't be that way because, like, he likes Tony Khan. Like, you know what I mean? Right. They want him there. And that, to me, that hurts that's how he became a big star.
To be fair to Robbie, to be fair for what Robbie was saying, if Brody Lee didn't pass away, he would have been a bigger star than when he was in WWE. It would have been Brody Lee.
Stop.
Yeah, it would have.
It's just like people talking about Cody. Dude, Brody Lee was a mid-card guy literally his entire career. It is very tragic that he passed away. I feel horrible for his family, and it's just a horror. It's a tragedy that
he could have been more though. Yeah, he was a mid-card guy, but
he was. Now I'm saying when he went to AEW,
what are hypotheticals do we just want to bank on that never happened? I think if Shawn Michaels didn't hurt his back, he would have beat the Undertaker's streak. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe if fake Undertaker would have put on a better show, they would have retired the real Undertaker and he could have taken over. Or you know what? Maybe fake Kane and real Kane, if they would have had better chemistry, they could have gone on to be the best tag team champions ever. We could talk hypotheticals all day, but we can only talk about factual things that actually happened. Brody Lee, by all accounts, was a great backstage present. He didn't draw in WWE. He didn't draw in AEW. He was a good mid-card champion, and there's nothing wrong with that. But dude, just because somebody dies does not mean you put them on a pedestal, and it really shouldn't mean that you exploit his child on national TV for those type of likes like that Tony did.
I agree with that. You don't exploit his child. I'm just saying it looked like he was gonna get a better chance in AEW than he did in WWE.
Amanda
That's what I'm saying.
Huber think that he's being exploited?
She needs money. Her cash cow literally passed away, and she needed that money from Tony Khan. Absolutely. She's a ghoul of a woman.
She's happy with what they've been doing, and his son is
she's
happy.
a ghoul. What do you expect?
But
She literally ripped her kid out on TV for money. She's a monster. What are you talking about? What kind of horrible parenting is that?
I disagree with that. I think everything they did was extremely classy with
and that's awesome, man. I'm glad you liked it, but I'm not going to call it like that because it was exploitation and it was garbage from a ghoul of a woman, a monster of a woman that exploited her child for money. I would never do that. I would never dream of putting my kid on TV for money.
DJ, were you going to speak up?
I'm sure he did want to be on TV. Guess what? I wanted to be on TV.
Just go, DJ. Just go.
I wanted to go in the sewers as a kid and be a Ninja Turtle, but my parents didn't let me do it because they loved me.
DJ, were you?
But you have to admit though, he looked better in AEW than he did in WWE. You have to admit that, right, Robbie?
No.
Well, DJ,
the dog collar match he had with Cody, the match he had with Cody with the dog collar, that was a good match.
When the Wyatts were hot, all the Wyatts looked good. Like, remember them in the Shield and all that? But outside of that, you're right. I mean, it seemed like what he did in AEW was probably slightly better than what he did in WWE.
Look at all the attention he got when he was mimicking Vince. I mean, he got more attention, is all I'm saying.
He got
800,000 people, sure.
He got screwed over because he came in right when the pandemic started. He didn't even get a chance to perform in front of an actual audience of people.
Did MJF?
Yeah, he did before the pandemic.
But during the pandemic, MJF was still super over, though, right?
Well, as much as somebody could be without there being an audience.
Was he more over than John?
That's debatable.
What would your opinion be?
I mean, I think MJF's probably top tier for any era of AEW.
So the pandemic didn't affect MJF and his popularity, but you're going to use as an excuse for somebody just because you feel bad that he passed?
No, it has nothing to do with the fact that he passed away. I'm just saying I think he would have had that momentum if he had come in, debuted, and had that.
Ultimately, it's just the hype train all falls because they signed too many people. Didn't they make Ruby Riott look like she was going to be the next biggest thing? 2 weeks later? I don't even know what the hell she's
doing.
Like Keith Lee? Do you even think about Keith Lee anymore? Nobody even thinks about him.
He's on Rampage.
The cardiologist is thinking about him.
Jeff Hardy is the next hottest thing because he's the most recent. But give it another month and they sign someone else, you're going to forget about Jeff Hardy too.
Do you really think that they would put Keith Lee out there if his health was really a problem?
I mean, yes. They let Sting dive off a balcony at like 60 years old.
What proof do you have that they're just going to be reckless and throw him out there?
Because they do that on every. How many Darby Allin matches
have
you seen?
Do you know what they're doing with doctors and whatnot and medical protocol?
Are they gimmick chairs? Did he land on a gimmick chair that didn't give it all?
Just guessing. You have your own opinion and you're making guesses here.
Aaron, what we do know with Keith Lee though is like in WWE they were concerned about his health and stuff for a while there. And now I'm not saying that's translated to AEW, but I could see Robbie's point of view there thinking that because he has history of seeming like he's been out.
Yeah, but
he's a bigger dude. And
I don't think Tony Khan would have signed him if there was any concern about his health.
Tony Khan would literally
but we still don't know. We don't know what their protocols are. Like we know WWE has great medical teams and everybody's evaluated. We assume AEW is the same way because they're a professional company. But Aaron, do we even know that for sure? We don't. We hope that they do that.
Do we even know he really had health issues? What if Vince just said that and he don't like the way he looked and he really said, "Yo, go lose weight"?
Well, he came behind the scenes. Keith Lee said the COVID stuff rocked. Remember? Yeah. Keith Lee said that. So, all right, where are we at?
Very interesting, Robbie. Very interesting.
Aaron, super chats. You want to talk anything about AEW CM Punk here? And
I just want to say I think it was really classy how AEW handled the whole Brody Lee thing. And yeah, after a while, they don't need -1 on TV constantly. I get that, but
I agree with that, Aaron. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't have a
let's
problem
honor
doing a
Owen
tribute
Hart
show.
by having Darby do a high spot and fall in a dangerous way. Go Owen. This is for you, buddy.
That Darby does that crap every match he has.
And that's why he probably won't have a career in 6 years.
Well, I mean, you could say that about a lot of guys in wrestling.
You can. You can say that about most
especially
guys.
in AEW.
Yeah.
All right, we got some super chats to catch up on. What was the topic again?
Wow, this is heated.
Well, CM Punk's status in AEW.
Okay.
Like, is he getting? Is
All
he just kind of? Is he creeping?
He's happy to be there. He is the big G of AEW. But
that's fine.
I think what happened was instead of striking the iron when it was hot, they decided to go the slow burn route. He came in and he had to work his way into the title ranks. Like Hulk Hogan, when he started in WCW, he went right for the title. And we've seen it a lot where wrestlers would come into promotions and they get right into the title picture. With CM Punk, the idea was he was gone for 7 years, so they decided to have him prove that he belongs in AEW. So he would compete against the younger guys and show that he is worthy of being in a main event position. He's beaten all those guys, and now he's in that main event position. So I get the story they went with, but at the same time, I do think they left some money on the table by not striking the iron when it was hot and putting him right in there with Kenny Omega when he debuted. Like that, if they put that on pay-per-view, like that would have been red hot. But they already had their plans for Hangman Adam Page, and they wanted to do the storyline with Punk earning his stripes and proving that he belongs and he can still go. So they did that. And I think his character is a little bit watered down, being the babyface character who's happy to be there. You know, it's a far cry from that rebel CM Punk that when he got on the mic, like bombs were being dropped.
Dude,
like,
I'll never forget not the pipe bomb promo. We all know that one. He demanded respect promo a few years later on Raw. He was wearing that yellow shirt. That's still my favorite of all.
Problem is now he is starting to feel like a nostalgia act, in my opinion. Like he hasn't really changed anything up. He's just a more watered down version of what he was when he was a babyface in 2020, let's say late 2011, early 2012, after the summer of Punk wore off, kind of like that early 2012 CM Punk. He's kind of in that role right now, or even like the late 2013 CM Punk. I just feel like something's got to change with him, whether it's a heel turn or whatever. He's got to evolve a little bit and change things up, I think. Look what Edge is doing. Edge turned heel, changed his music, cut his hair. He's doing something different. And Jericho would always do it. Jericho would change his look and just change his presentation in order to be up to speed with the times and stay relevant. So yeah, that's the problem with CM Punk right now is he just feels like he's out of place. Feels like it's a guy from a decade ago, only half the intensity of what he used to have. And in the ring, he's still really good. Like his matches are certainly quality, and he continues to get great reactions on AEW.
We never know. Maybe Khan wanted to strike the iron when it's hot, and he said, "I don't really want to steal someone's spotlight right now. Let's do it." Maybe it was his idea to go slow. We just don't know.
Could very well be the case, man. Yeah. All right, let's get to some of these super chats. We have a bunch of them, so I apologize. We got a little bit carried away with our discussion.
They want their shirt.
We've done a 2-hour show before, Aaron.
They want their shirts.
This is money right now. This is money.
Oh yeah, Robbie might have to make a hard exit here at 9.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Who's more scary, Virtue fans or Liv Morgan fans?" Virtue.
Virtue. I don't know. Liv Morgan fans, because there's probably a lot of creepy ones out there. Because she's,
Liv Morgan has fans.
Oh yeah,
the stalker type fans. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Definitely them. Definitely her fans. She's got more than me too. I got like 10.
Hamp Kano sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "What are the chances of CM Punk joining William Regal?" I don't think it's necessary. I mean, what do you guys think?
Don't do that.
Zero.
then all the marks are gonna say, "Oh, see, they're just pushing all the ex-WWE guys."
I think it has a negative 1% chance.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That was clever.
There's no need for it though.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says CM Punk should turn heel on Hangman Adam Page, win the world title, and while he beats challengers to build up the next babyface of AEW, perhaps Wardlow or Darby Allin. Well, not Darby, but Wardlow for sure.
Wardlow for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that. I would be totally down with the CM Punk heel turn. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. Maybe CM Punk, like you said, Walter, maybe they've brought up the idea and he just wants to do his own thing. He's having fun. So I think Tony Khan will accommodate CM Punk as much as possible. And whatever makes CM Punk happy is what's going to be on
Like
television.
I said, I think the biggest thing is just they signed too many people too close together and it never
Well,
gave
CM Punk is still on
Mm-hmm.
TV pretty much every week and is still one of the focal points of the show. The problem is every week they got to say, oh, look who's coming on to TV next week. We got a big surprise. Tony Khan's going to make a big announcement.
Yeah.
They're relying on that now to try and keep the viewership numbers up. And yeah, the numbers are good, but yeah, of course, anything can happen. And with all this news going on about the future of Warner Media, nothing's a guarantee. Even if AEW is top 5 cable, you just don't know. If somebody comes in that hates wrestling, could be bad news for AEW. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Definitely a story to follow.
But I like what Punk is doing right now. He's more like a hybrid because, last week on Dynamite or on Wednesday, he came out with the Tavares New York Islanders jersey. Tavares got traded to to another team. He doesn't play for the Islanders. So that was like a little bit of a heelish move that he did on Wednesday night. Good. So he's more like a hybrid, heel, face,
NHL
like in
hockey,
between.
by the way.
Yeah, he got traded to the Canadiens, didn't he? Who did he get traded?
Yeah, Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah, Punk's a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
So they come out with a jersey.
He goes for his Blackhawks.
The Islander jersey, but the guy on the jersey plays for another team. That's like a heelish type of move. So
And I think
like
that's because he knew he was getting booed. It's Long Island. He knew he was getting booed, so of course he did that.
It's bizarre.
I think he wouldn't have did that if it was any. Yeah, it's like Montreal is for WWE.
Right, when Shawn Michaels is in Montreal, he's the heel.
Yeah,
by default. That's how CM Punk is in Long Island.
Yeah, it makes
real
sense.
quick, I saw Psycho Jet Black threw in $2 and asked me a question. He asked me who is my favorite wrestler and why. And if we're talking all time, it's obviously Triple H. Huge fan of Hunter and everything he's done. If we're gonna go modern, my favorite wrestler, top to bottom, if you want to say the way they work in the ring, their atmosphere, and everything about the character is going to be MJF.
All right, so there's some praise for AEW too. Somebody was asking, do you like anything about AEW?
MJF, FTR. I mean, there's a lot of good things in AEW. Just because I say one comment about AEW does not mean that I hate everything. I actually like a lot of things in AEW. I don't like the way that the fans attack anytime they circle the wagons, man. It's gross.
Man, right now MJF is AEW.
I mean, he's
really him.
It's really him.
Yeah.
He's certainly one of the focal points, and he's on TV every week, so he's one of the guys Tony Khan is pushing towards the top, and Keith Lee on 1 week off again. Malachi Black.
Khan's gonna throw him a blank check. I'm telling you, when his contract's over, he's gonna give him Tony Khan's gonna give him his checkbook and say, write what figure you want. He's not gonna let him go.
It's so early to talk about his contract. He's still got some time left, but we'll talk about that more as we get closer.
That will be a hot topic.
Yeah, it will be for sure. Hamp Cano sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you. Hamp says, just my opinion, they really need to filter Punk on Twitter and interviews. Calling a percentage of viewers racist, fascist, terrorists can hurt them.
Well, he was right there.
I mean,
I agree with CM Punk on that point.
But then how many people would compare AEW to WWE if they start censoring their people's Twitters? WWE already does that. You can't say certain. Then all the AEW fans are going to compare it to WWE.
I mean, it's.
I'm not saying that they should.
No, I'm just saying I agreed with Phil on that one. I think everything he said in that tweet was 1,000% correct. We won't really go into that, but I don't think they need to be censoring him. I think he can speak his mind like anyone else does. I think it's awful that WWE basically censors a lot of their talent from saying things about, he's still a human. He's still a guy. He has every right to his opinion as anyone else. And in this instance, I just happen to agree with him.
I mean, we're not going to talk about it.
Not going into it.
I'm all for saying whatever you want to say on social media. I'm all for that. Robbie knows that.
Yeah, me too.
Mr. Tito sent in a $9.99 super
Nice,
chat.
Mr. Tito. Nice.
Former NoDQ.com columnist.
The best. All right.
We've lifted the coffin open, and now we're going to start unpeeling the bandages of the mummy, Mr. Tito. He says, Father Time has caught up with CM Punk, both on promos and in-ring ability. 7 years away, surrounding AEW roster of goofs and acrobatics with no psychology plus bad booking can't help mask an older Punk.
I feel like, how we disagree a lot, and he, it's hard for I agree with him there. I think we always have on that.
I agree.
Father Time catches up to everyone eventually, so
pretty much.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, when Robbie was saying steak, I was hearing sting.
You're gonna deep fry and microwave Sting. Oh my god! Leave the man alone.
He's already been through enough.
That's right.
We had to work for Vince Russo for all those years.
Not even that. I feel most bad for Sting of how they botched that Starrcade match with Hogan. That perfect build to just completely fall apart.
Nobody worked for Vince Russo, Aaron. He was just a writer. Like, nobody worked for him. I don't know what you're talking about there.
I just wish Sting went over Triple H. I respect and love Triple H, but I wish Sting went over on Triple H at that WrestleMania. That's like
in the grand scheme of thing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
it sure doesn't. It
Sting,
sure doesn't. You're right.
While Triple H is my favorite, Sting clearly had the better persona, at least for a time period.
There was just no reason for Triple H to win. I'm sorry to go off a topic like that, but it was just there was no sense. And then it's not about NWO. It's not about WCW versus WWE. But then they totally made it about that.
I respect the opinion, man.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, I have something to say. Robot Robbie is awesome.
I did have a Robbie robot when I was a kid.
That's his name is Robot Robbie right here.
Nice.
Yeah, but you're never going to hear the Robot Robbie voice again because he did it once and that's it.
That's all we need.
The joke until it's just completely ran into the ground like how WWE does with their comedy. Anyways, We're caught up now.
All right. We are in the main event, and Roman Reigns sneaks in there again because speculation, and this is what we're hearing, he's going to have a reduced contract. What he said in Trenton, New Jersey at the house show, you're not going to be seeing me much anymore doing these things. And now, people are claiming he's going to be gone for 3 months, but yet they have stadium shows coming. He's going to be booked on every one of those. Could he be off a Hell in a Cell? Perhaps. But if he's going to be at any stadium shows, you guys know he's going to probably be on some TVs leading up to those shows, like Brock Lesnar did. Does he have a more Brock Lesnar-esque contract possibly coming up here? Yes. Again, speculation. Robbie, I'm going to start with you because you were talking about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I truly think he'll be at every stadium show. No doubt in my mind about that. Could he miss some TVs? When I say some TVs, he's traditionally on SmackDown. He doesn't have to always be on every Raw and no house shows. I've been on board with that ever since these rumors came about. What do you think here? Dissect it the Robbie Vice way.
I really don't think it's going to change too much for what we see. I think you'll see him. I don't think he's going to be doing house shows anymore. I don't think he's going to have that same match with Drew McIntyre 4 days a week in 4 different towns. I think you'll see him at probably every SmackDown. I think you'll see him on TV at least once a week. I don't know if he'll do Raw and SmackDown weekly. I think he'll definitely do one or the other. I think he'll probably be at most of the premium live events. And I think that, they can still have him on TV when he's not there. They could have those pre-tape segments where he's sitting in the back with them and he's watching the TV. And then, the matches in the story could go, he could send Jay out or send Jimmy or something. Go take care of this. Don't disappoint me. He could go have his match and then go backstage again. for a reaction. So Roman can still stay fresh. They can still keep him on TV. I just don't think they're going to have him at house shows anymore. I think he's earned it. I think he's, probably the biggest star in wrestling right now. And I think we're just going to not see him at house shows. I really don't think it's going to impact his TV at all.
Now, DJ, think about this. Just kind of plant the seed that he's not going to do house shows anymore. And you say he doesn't, miss some Raws. Like Robbie said, maybe he's on one show a week, do the major shows. You got stadium shows. You got at least 2 in the States, right? 2 coming up here. Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, correct, Aaron?
Yep.
Why not drive people to those stadium shows to see the main attraction, Roman Reigns, and give him some time off to not have to travel every weekend and be home with his family during the summer? Perfect. What do you think here? To me, this is the evolution of being a top star, getting to do this. It's not the old school days, DJ, where you have to do 2 shows on a Saturday like Hulk Hogan used to have to do.
Right, exactly. He deserves it, man. He's on top of the world right now. This does open the door for other talent to elevate their game. He's going to be on like a Brock Lesnar type of schedule, I believe. Still have all the major pay-per-views, a couple of SmackDowns, but like you said, no more live events. And it's going to be interesting what he does with his contract next year. I definitely see him taking more time off. I don't think he's going to go the movie route. I've got a lot of people telling me he might go the movie route, but I disagree with that. Even though I like what he did in the Fast and Furious movie, I like this character and like his role.
Yeah, something like that, DJ. Though what he did in Hobbs and Shaw, that probably only took him a few days to film those scenes. He could do little roles like that, right? And take, where you don't have to be dedicated to the set all the time. Go in, shoot your stuff, get out. Yeah.
Yeah, I see more of that on the horizon. But yeah, I'm more interested when his contract expires at WrestleMania 39, what he's going to do, what his decision is going to be. But as of right now, the Brock Lesnar type schedule, maybe a little bit more appearances than Brock. Right. I feel like that's going to be the route he's going.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Who is your favorite WWE superstar? I don't know if I know that, so I'm asking you. DJ.
It's a good question. I'm loving what Roman's doing. I say Roman and Charlotte. Roman on the men's side and Charlotte on the women's side. Charlotte, man, she deserves the time off too as well. She's on a whole nother.
With that being said, how do you feel them being off? Those are the 2 people that you want to see all the time. Are you fine with that as a fan of both of them?
I hate that she lost the title. I think she should have sent Ronda off packing, honestly. But Charlotte's been doing everything. Her performance at WrestleMania was amazing. She's probably beat up and probably needs the time off anyway. So even though it sucks for me as a fan to see her off TV for a while, she deserves it. But I was disappointed. I didn't want Ronda winning that belt.
But you know what you do as a fan? When you know they're not going to be there for a period of time, you wait.
What's that?
Find something else to get you by, and then you wait for them to come back. Like I remember doing that with Roman the summer of 2020 during the pandemic. Was it 2020? Yes. And then he came back at SummerSlam, and ever since, look what happened. All right, Walter Cruz. Now you're up.
Okay, yeah.
Well, like we're all saying, he definitely deserves it. I think this is one way to prolong your career. You're not susceptible to as much injury if you're not always in the ring. I think he's just going to make more appearances. Maybe wrestle on the premium live events, and if you're going to show up on SmackDown, it's all segments, maybe via satellite, maybe a backstage segment, or to promote the next fight with the Usos. I think they're going to focus more on the Usos to try to make them bigger stars and let Roman have time off, spend time with his children. He's getting older. His kids are getting older. Maybe he just wants to spend more time with the family. At the end of the day, all these people are real human beings with real families. So we got to respect whatever they do. And I just feel like he's just not going to work house shows. I think it's speculation. Everybody's getting a little bit exaggerative, and we don't know what it's going to be, but it might just be, I'm not working house shows anymore. We're not working house shows anymore. I'll still work my SmackDown, maybe via satellite on Raw, and then I'll show up for the big appearances. And it makes him seem like a bigger star, and it makes the championships worth more when someone's chasing it and you don't see that person all the time.
Ooh, Some people might get
I agree with the
upset.
satellite stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what I see on social media is he has to drop those titles and it has to go on somebody so they're on TV. Like, you know how there are those people out there.
Yeah, but hell no. It makes the story better. Like, you don't deserve me to be on TV to show these titles. Prove yourself to me that you're worth
I
challenging
think
for these
that's
titles.
dangerous, though. That's the out of sight, out of mind thing, man. You know what I mean? That's that's one of the big criticisms I have for AEW is that you'll see these guys in this match and they'll start a program and then you don't see them for 2 weeks.
Which is why you can still do the via satellite or do the old Punk thing where I'm not saying the picture in the refrigerator, but you remind people on social media that you're the champ, the titles is here, waiting for a worthy challenger. Then you're not really out of sight. You know how many followers he's got. He's the number one search top person of all of WWE right now. So people are never going to forget
right now.
Yeah.
Well, Walter, well said. And he could drop the WWE title and still have a Universal title to keep the count going on there. And, everybody said you don't have to have titles to be in a feud with The Rock. If that happens, I think it's so far along in the Universal title reign now, you almost have to, let that keep going, approach, numbers that are insane for modern standards. But how do they get that WWE title off him if he's going to take some time off to get it, on a Cody or something? I mean, they could do that. They're the ones that decided to put them on him, so they have to figure out how to.
Well, one thing about the titles and Rock, I agree with Aaron. If he's still the champion when The Rock, or if and when The Rock is gonna go against him, it kind of already tells you who's winning. Because we know damn well The Rock is not gonna win that title from him.
I've said all along, if that happens, you have to have him beat The Rock to dominate the bloodline, and then go on and drop to somebody else. The WWE way would be everyone's expecting for Roman to beat Rock. Let's put him on Rock, and we'll figure it out from there.
Rock ain't going to do more than one match, though.
Yeah, Rock ain't going to.
Then beat him down after the match or something like that.
Well, the Rock could just vacate
and then they
forfeit out of it. It would be dumb.
Yeah, they'd find a way to get out of it. But just that initial win it, oh my God, nobody expected it. WWE is stupid like that. But
they could do that.
3 months here with Roman, I still think he'll be relevant somehow.
I think that it's totally fine for him to have a reduced schedule. I'm cool with it. I have no problems. The only thing is I do think that if you were going to put both titles on him, it would have been best if he was on both shows regularly. I feel like he is going to drop that WWE title fairly soon, probably to Cody Rhodes. And man, Cody, I feel like the timing could not have been any better for him to come back to WWE. He's there, and he's pretty much the top babyface in the company now. I think he's surpassed Drew McIntyre at this point, and Roman Reigns is apparently off of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and now Cody Rhodes is front and center on that Hell in a Cell poster.
Build up Cody.
Yeah, Cody is really benefiting from the current landscape of WWE right now. Cody came in at exactly the right time. He's hot. He's something different. And yeah, I think he's going to be the one that beats Roman for the WWE title. And with Roman taking some time off and taking a lighter schedule, I think that that'll help keep him as Universal Champion for a longer time. I think one of our concerns was that maybe he would get hurt going so hard and being champion for a long time that he would have a greater risk of getting injured and having to drop the title, which would really suck for this long reign to end with an injury. So maybe this is for the best if there's a long-term plan for Roman to stay as Universal Champion. I could see Cody winning the title maybe at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. Quite frankly, I would be totally fine with Drew McIntyre beating Roman Reigns in the UK and winning the Universal title, and then you set up Roman Reigns for the Rock. No title, just the two of them going at it. All about who's the real tribal chief. You're not a fan of that, DJ?
No, sir.
You're not.
But I get it though, because
winning the title and
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre sucks.
Go ahead, Virtue.
Well, is it because you don't want Drew McIntyre to win the title, or you want Roman to keep gold for The Rock because it's like a mob boss mafia mentality gimmick and you need money? It's about money and greed. That's why I feel the title's going to be needed for that gimmick, but maybe not.
I want that title reign to end with the title winning it. Sorry.
TJ, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he can still keep the title though if they have Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. They can cut a promo saying this is more than just the title. I don't need to put my title on the line. This is more for the heritage of the Samoan family. I'm the head of the table, so they can just cut that promo and not have the title on the line. In my opinion, I think it's a real easy fix. But Drew McIntyre, we've seen it, Aaron. Unfortunately,
United Kingdom though, winning the title in front of 80,000 fans. That's a moment.
Right. That's true because he was champion during the pandemic with no fans. So Drew should have that proper moment in front of fans to be the champion. I totally get it. I'm just,
I mean, I'd rather that than the match with Tyson Fury.
McIntyre lost all credibility when he had the feud with the Mad Cut Rouse and Happy Co. It's like I can't take you serious anymore after that feud. He lost all credibility.
But like he or WWE booked him that way, so you can't blame Drew for that.
I know, totally. Okay. You're right, but still, it's just I just can't get him away.
Maybe
from
if
the
he
title.
politics,
it's like I can't take it. Yeah.
I wish that they would stop having him do the same gimmick, the same promo, the same everything.
Exactly.
Every Drew McIntyre match.
Like Legend of Zelda.
Write a book when it tells some of the goddamn stories.
Why doesn't he have a powerbomb? I feel like Drew McIntyre with a powerbomb would be a lot more interesting to me because, like, I feel like the Claymore kick is like a cruiserweight move, and I know he invented it by accident, just like Jake Roberts did with the DDT. But I don't know, man. I don't think Drew McIntyre has the it factor to be a top champion, especially following Roman Reigns' legendary run. I just don't see it.
I don't see it either.
The Claymore kick is like a setup move.
Yeah, for like another big move. I think he's trying to make it kind of like
he's
out
7
of
feet
nowhere,
tall.
like RKO.
Can't teach that.
He's like the only 7-footer that doesn't have a power bomb, but generically they give everybody.
I don't think Drew is 7 feet.
He's probably like 6'8".
No, he's 6'5". He's 6'5". They
Yeah.
said it before. 6'5". Yeah.
I was going to say Michael Wayne knows all this stuff.
Yeah,
all right,
he's 6'5".
Let me get to this last super chat and then we'll wrap it up. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, how do you think WWE will turn Roman Reigns back babyface? He needs a good heel, right? Like, I think in order for that to happen, you need a really strong heel that can take over in his spot. And they don't have that guy, in my opinion.
Maybe this is the chance. They want him to take a ladder schedule, out of sight, out of mind, like Robbie said. And then when he'll come back, he'll be get that pop, and that's your way of turning him face.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever going to be that happy baby face again. I think he's going to ride that Austin line from here on out because or The Rock, where he was a badass as a heel, and he could still be a badass. He could just do his gimmick for like the actual right thing. Like, hey, I'm going to kick your ass because it's the right thing to do. Yeah. You know, get ready, and he's going to come on there with the same attitude. I think that's money, and that's probably the route they should go. I never want to see Suffer and Succotash ever again in my life.
No,
I want to watch that.
What do you guys think? Like, remember when he beat Undertaker in the next night on Raw? Right, he got that reaction.
My yard.
What happens if he beats The Rock at WrestleMania, and then the next SmackDown or whatever he's on, they do the same thing, and now it's like cheering him, like, "Thank you, Roman." That would just be such an evolution from one point to the next. I don't know that would happen, but like if him and Rock have a classic match, like I'm not gonna say Hogan and Rock, but like 3/4 of that. They give him enough time, let him do enough, milk the audience the way they let Hogan and Rock do it in Toronto. Man, they could be standing and giving Roman Reigns a standing ovation that next show after that match.
I wouldn't mind if they actually tried to make Roman the babyface in a match against The Rock and have The Rock do his whole Hollywood shtick again.
They could.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they really could. If it happens,
right?
It's all speculation. We don't know.
The Rock could just come out there, be a total cocky prick.
Yeah.
And people want to see Roman kick his ass. I would be cool with that. I'd be down.
What about the Bloodline being like an APA type of situation if they were faces where people will come up and pay tribute to Roman in exchange for a favor, like the Mafia Godfather type of thing?
There you go.
For favors. And then you'd also have stories when they don't pay up or something goes wrong, and then they get what's a favorite we haven't seen, like a thrown. When was the last time someone got thrown through a windshield? We need that stuff again, right?
You know what they should do? They should do something like that where they get the you know how mobs and stuff would rob stuff, the mob bosses, they'd have their groups stealing money, and they should like steal the 24/7 title and have it like burn or like melted down into like a ring or a necklace for Roman to wear. Like,
There
you
you
know
go.
what I mean? Like,
Just like
just
when
to get rid of that title. Maybe do that for a couple of the other
When
titles.
Kama stole the urn and melted it down.
Turn it into like a gold version of
It was a chain, wasn't
traditional thing
Yeah.
that he wears.
Yeah.
That's all I got this week, Aaron. Are we caught up?
Yeah, we're caught up.
All right. Well, this time we go around and do our plugs, and we'll see if we can get out of here. So, DJ, I'm going to come over to you. Good having you on. And I know, this was getting your feet wet on the review, but hey, man, you did okay. What do you have to say in closing?
I was nervous. Thanks, you guys, for having me on. Thank you, NoDQ Galaxy, for supporting me on the videos. This was fun, man. I was quite nervous. But Robbie and your debate should be coming up very soon. I can't wait for that to happen. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be money. I don't have any plugs. I'm just on NoDQ.com. On the comments, sending the super chats, keeping it entertaining. And we have to make that debate happen, Aaron.
Yeah,
We have to make it happen.
What Robbie and I are discussing is, do we both have preliminary debates against other people first, get them in the books, and then the big one set up for me and Robbie? We definitely have a trio of topics him and I disagree on that we're going to have a blast doing it. All right, Walter Cruz, get off your phone and do your plug.
Yeah, I'm trying to select a winner for the shirt.
Oh yeah, we got to pick a winner. That's right.
Yeah.
Live? Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
live.
let's do it live.
I'm gonna slide my
Yeah.
finger like that. The first super chat it lands on, that person wins. But like Noah Foster says, he's a simple man. I'm the simple follow. You just follow me on Twitter at Walter Alex Cruz. And so let's
Walter.
go ahead and go ahead.
Let me read off Psycho
Do a
Jet
drum roll.
Black.
You got a drum roll, Aaron?
I do not think so, but Psycho Jet Black says, will WWE give Gable Steveson, or Braun Breaker the Roman push? I think they will want to if one of those guys can actually fit into the role. And
Exactly.
right now, I think Cody is going to be the guy, because Cody is able to do everything WWE needs as far as a top star goes. You look at his whole presentation, how he carries himself. He's very well spoken. He wears the suit. He does all of the meetups with the fans after the show. He's out there after everybody else has left. He's still at ringside shaking hands with kids and taking pictures. Cody is doing everything that WWE wants in a top star. And if Gable Steveson or Braun Breaker can fit into that role, then certainly I think WWE will strap the rocket to their backs. But that's going to depend on them, I think. I believe
sorry, but
they will get
now-
the opportunities.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have to see Gable Steveson in the ring before I can
Right.
make any kind of
First of all, you
prediction.
want to know,
It's
hey,
like weird
listen,
to just go, yeah.
we saw him do that little spot at WrestleMania. This is where he's at right now. He's training. He was still doing amateur wrestling up until just before that point. He still had amateur wrestlers don't get jacked. They still have a little bit of meat on their bones. He's getting in that pro wrestling. That's my gut feeling. We might not see him for a while. And when we do, we're going to be like,
Right.
holy crap, what happened to that dude? Because he's going to be jacked.
He's got the look. Yeah, he's got the look for sure. Him and Braun Breaker.
Look, but everybody's going to give him the angle comparisons, and I don't know if that's going to help or hurt him.
Yeah, we don't know about
he
that.
Can backflip.
Yeah, maybe Kurt Angle will manage him at some point.
Just don't give him the Olympic Slam as his move, please. Don't,
Right.
because then
Or
you're
the-
You know
inviting.
WWE's
You're
going to do
inviting
it.
it. Yeah.
They're going to do
Or
it.
an ankle
Ronda
lock.
has the
Don't
ankle
give him the
lock now,
ankle
right?
lock, and don't give him the Olympic Slam, because
Give
then
him the
you're just
Kurgan
inviting.
claw.
Did Johnny Boy send in a super chat? If not, he should be in the running now. Johnny Boy sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, so Cody and Seth will probably be in the Hell in a Cell match. Do you see the other one being the unified tag match?
Inside the Cell, a unified tag match.
Oh, he's saying
I
what would
don't
be
think.
the
I
other Cell
don't.
match.
I think they're just teasing. I don't know if they're really going to do it. They might have given up on it. They're just going to keep mentioning it.
You think
But-
they'll have a women's match in the Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, they might end up doing Bianca Belair
might.
versus Becky Lynch.
Becky.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the Cell was originally made for. At least Becky and her have history and have something to feud over. The fact that Rollins and Cody is in the Cell makes no sense to me. You're already down 0-2. You don't. What the hell? You lost both matches with Cody. What do you need a third match, let alone a Cell for?
He's
A Cell
obsessed.
was set up to stop anybody from coming in. interfering with a match. You had a feud that went back and forth, and this is it. This is going to settle it. This is the rubber match.
Cell is supposed to prevent interference. What happened in the very first Hell in a Cell match?
Right.
I know. But at least it made sense.
Kane
The
ripped the door.
There's a lot of bad blood between Rollins and Cody on this one, my
Yeah.
man. I'm gonna hard disagree on that. I think them in a Hell in a Cell is the only way to end this, and I hope Cody goes over 3-0.
But wouldn't it make more sense if
Rollins
Cody won one and then Seth won one, and now you want to do this out?
But we hate 50-50 booking. Which side are we on?
Right.
We hate
Yep.
50-50 booking.
No 50-50 book.
Walter, Seth Rollins has been the top champion and has beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania twice. He can lose 3 matches in a row to build Cody up. Look, Cody came from AEW. They're making Cody shine, and Seth Rollins is glad to be along for that ride.
Understandable. It just makes no sense. Like,
I'm not telling you your opinion's wrong. I'm just saying I disagree with it.
Yeah.
I'm just some asshole with a Twitter account, dude. I am literally no.
Of course.
You can absolutely have that opinion.
Everyone has an opinion.
Asshole
Like
with a Twitter account.
Everyone has one.
And I am one. So there
All
we
right,
go.
did you pick your winner, Walter, before we move
Wait.
over to
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Say yes to
I think it
Robbie
should be
Vice
Psycho Jet
and no to Ryback. Well, Psycho Jet Black sent in like 10 of them, so he might be the statistical
picking Psycho
favorite.
It landed on
Yeah.
Hamp Connell. Hamp Connell won.
All
Hamp
right,
Connell.
Yeah.
Hamp?
Hamp
Shout out
Connell,
to
where
Hamp.
are you at?
All right.
Where you at,
so
Hamp?
you just got to email Aaron and email him what shirt you want. Give him your info, and I'll get you a shirt
Is that
or
your-
mug
is that
or
your
whatever
burner?
you want. It doesn't have to be
Hey,
a shirt.
Walter, is Hamp your burner account?
No.
Okay. All right,
All right,
so you
Hamp-
did your plug. So, Robbie, did you do your? You don't do them.
Yeah, look, I am down to like 230 something followers, down from my 300 something. I'm actually shocked when I check Twitter at this point and I see like new followers. I don't really understand it, and in a way, it actually kind of like rubs me the wrong way because I don't know. Don't follow me.
6 people.
Right. Don't follow me. My opinions are not for you. My opinions are for no one, really. I don't know. There's really no reason to follow me. Don't do it.
I
You
mean,
guys
that's
can see me
Robbie.
here on the review if you want to interact with me. That's great. But yeah, don't follow my Twitter because you're going to get upset.
Yeah.
You're going to send me angry DMs, and it's just not a good time for me.
Come over to my
That's
Twitter
'cause no-
instead.
That's because nobody
Hey,
knows how to
interact with
disagree
you,
and still have
Aaron, all these
respect.
guys.
I follow you. I don't agree with
And that's
everything,
fine,
but
and
I
that's
still
fine.
respect
But, like,
you.
I'm just saying, like, it is not worth the anger that you will feel because I'm an extremely opinionated person with next to no knowledge on anything I'm talking about. So, like, just at your own risk.
In particular,
gonna
the
follow me,
negative stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Wait,
Especially
Virtue.
how his whatever
Yes.
his mom is a ghoul of a woman. But if you
It's-
are gonna follow me, at least look at my Twitter bio before you start freaking out. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
If
At
people follow
Robbie
Ryback, they
Vice,
can
by the
follow
way.
you. If they follow Ryback, they can follow you.
Ryback
DJ,
has
you
been
were
Virtue,
blocked.
were you
Ryback,
were you
CM
offering a
Punk,
tag
all
team?
that whole thing has been blocked.
Virtue, were you
that?
offering a tag team Twitter account or something like that? Is that what you just offered
Me?
him?
No.
Yeah.
No, he just said follow.
It sounded
him
like that's
to
what
do
you
all
said.
that. No,
No,
he
follow
said
No,
Virtue.
follow.
if they don't want
okay.
to follow Robbie to like spew venom back at me, then they come over and join my train over on Twitter.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay. I thought you offered a tag team Twitter account or something.
Oh no,
I think that'd
Aaron,
been
don't
pretty
forget-
cool, actually.
I can barely keep up with my own. So all
Aaron,
right,
you gotta give
Aaron,
Hamp your email.
Yeah, Psycho Jet Black sent in another $2 super chat. Says, "I'm upset that Ricochet is holding a mid-card title." I mean,
Why?
Yeah,
Who cares? The title's as valuable as
is
Ricochet.
what it is.
Throw 'em
I'm
both
upset,
Yeah,
I'm upset that the IC title is never defended on pay-per-view anymore.
Titles don't mean crap.
that too.
They don't mean crap. I feel like you can go through the X-ray machine at the airport with the title. Even they don't give a shit about those titles.
Anyways,
Pretty much.
guys, NoDQMISC@gmail.com. That's for Hamp Connell. And if anybody wants to put their name in the queue for a NoDQ review, somebody that hasn't been on before, we got DJW on tonight. Pleasure to have you on, my friend. And anybody else, I know that this guy experience has been wanting to be on. So hit me up.
Got to get them on.
At gmail.com. We're going to try to get some new people on, get everybody a chance to be on that hasn't been on yet. So thank you guys for following and supporting. Very much appreciated. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Fun chat tonight.
Yes,
Be sure to
sir.
go to nodq.com/merch to check out some shirts. I think there's some vintage Virtue shirts over on the Pro Wrestling Tees site still. Also, don't forget, when we get to episode 200, the whole episode is going to be ran by the NoDQ Galaxy in the chat. I will come in with 0 topics, and we will be relying on your super chats to carry the show for episode 200.
That should be good.
Be sure to follow me
yeah.
on Twitter if you dare at NoDQ_Virtue. If you think I have blocked one of your accounts because you had 0 followers and looked like you were trolling, it's simple. Just send me an apology, a heartfelt message at nodqvirtue@gmail.com, and we can get back on track, and I can unblock your burner account or whatever it was. If you have any complaints about me, feel free to share them with nodqmisc@gmail.com. But for Robbie Weiss, for DJW, for Walter Cruz and Aaron Rift, Colin Andrew and the whole NoDQ Galaxy and team, I'm Virtue, and we will see you again next time. Good night.
Say yes to NoDQ. Say yes to NoDQ.
Amen to that.
Say no to Robbie.
Say yes to NoDQ. Say no to Robbie Weiss.
No to Robbie Weiss.
Smart.